Alright, hello everyone, good day. So today we enter another new topic in understanding the self. Ito yung slide ko, no? It's called personal flourishing. We will talk about emotional well-being, and as the term implies, syempre, ang focus natin dito is on emotions. Now, in this module, I ask you to answer an emotional intelligence test that will measure more or less kung gaano ka-okay yung emotional intelligence nyo. Now, this practice of measuring EQ is a very known practice in the psychology of emotions literature. Marami talagang mga instruments. This is only one of the many na ginagamit to measure a person's overall EQ. So if you want to know more about the different tools that psychologists use to measure EQ, itong article na to, you can just download and read. Okay? Now, this EQ concept, isa sa mga nagpasikat niyan is Daniel Goleman. Although, he's not the only person na who talks about emotional intelligence, pero at least in the popular level, si Goleman yung pinaka nag-popularize niyan when he wrote the book with the term emotional intelligence. It's a good book, highly recommended book. Kung gusto niyong basahin to, pwedeng-pwede. Okay, it's a very good book that will educate people on how emotions work. Isa sa mga popular claims ni Daniel Goleman, who is by the way a psychologist, was when he said that EQ is a very powerful predictor of life success. So kung gusto niyo maging successful sa life in whatever standard na gagamitin mo, talagang the data shows that people who are good in EQ most likely will do well in life. So more about that, the details on that in this book written by Daniel Goleman. So, going back to that instrument na pinakita ko kanina, kapag sinagutan mo yan, your scores will be subdivided into 4 sub-emotional skills. So, meron kang iba't ibang scores sa numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so emotional intelligence is the umbrella term or the umbrella skill. There are 4 smaller skills that forms emotional intelligence. Yan na nga yun. Yung 1, 2, 3, 4. Emotional awareness, emotional management, social emotional awareness, and relationship management. You can divide this 4 into 2. Yung emotional intelligence, yung numbers 1 and 2, has something to do with the self, how you handle your own emotions, but it doesn't stop there. Emotional intelligence also refers to your ability to handle other people's emotions. Yun yung numbers 3 and 4. Social emotional awareness, and relationship management. Kaya dito pa lang, meron na kagad tayong pwedeng matutunan about EQ, that EQ is not only about the self. Kasi that's a common misconception kapag sinabing emotional intelligence, oh, that's me. How I handle my emotions, how I handle my sadness, how I handle my disappointment, although that's right, but incomplete. Because EQ also involves other people. We are social beings in a social world. Tandaan nyo yan, hindi pwedeng puro sarili lang. So what do? We also study, we also practice skills that enable us to effectively handle emotions of other people. Kasama na dyan tatay mo, nanay mo, if you are in a relationship, boyfriend or girlfriend mo, basta kasama ang ibang tao sa emotional intelligence. You cannot separate the self from others. Ano sabi nila? It's like 2 sides of the same coin. Nagigets nyo? You cannot have one side without the other. So in this short lecture, I'm going to quickly introduce to you to these 4 sub-skills of EQ, and then when we see each other in the classroom, that's where we dig deeper into these 4 sub-skills. Unahin natin yung emotional awareness. This is a person's ability to understand what emotion is being felt and why that emotion is being felt. So, 2 questions yan. Anong emotion yung nararamdaman mo at bakit mo nararamdaman yan? The better you are in answering those 2 questions, the what and the why, mas mataas yung emotional awareness mo. Now, let's do this simple exercise para malaman ninyo kung okay ba yung emotional awareness nyo. Let me zoom this in. The key question here is, what makes you? And then dito meron tayong mga general emotions: sad, happy, hurt, confident, energized. Now, I want you to reflect. After all, this is understanding the self. We reflect a lot, right? So what you do is, isa-isahin mo yung mga emotions na to. And then you answer the question, what makes you? Okay? So for example, what makes you under sadness, depressed? Isip ka ng mga possible reasons why you would be depressed, or maybe recall times in your life when you felt this. What makes you? Tapos you move on to the next, no? What makes you dejected? Do the same. What makes you feel heavy? What makes you feel crushed? Got it? So, pwede kang mag-recall in your past experience, or kung wala ka pang ganung experience, what would make you feel like that? Daanan mo lahat ng mga emotions na yan. This is a very good exercise to enhance your emotional awareness. Para alam mo that each emotion most likely comes from somewhere. Okay? That's the essence of, going back here, emotional awareness. Alam mo kung anong tawag sa emotion na yan, you can easily identify what your emotion is, and you know exactly why you are feeling that. Klarong-klaro sa iyo yung link between the what of emotion and the why of emotion. That's why, let me just give you a picture of people na merong mababang emotional awareness. Most likely they say the following statements: hindi ko gets bakit ako naiinis sa kanya. Have you ever said this in your life? Or maybe you heard someone say this. That is an indication of low emotional awareness. Hindi mo naiintindihan kung bakit ka naiinis sa isang tao, although alam mo yung emotion mo, okay yan. Pero where it comes from, hindi mo ma-identify, yan, medyo sign yan ng low emotional awareness. Or another example, hindi ko gets bakit mahal na mahal ko siya. Uy, linya ng mga love life to, no? And does that ever happen? You love this person so much, even if all your reasons or all the reasons why you would love this person, wala naman. Di ba? Parang ang hirap-hirap niyang mahalin. In the eyes of others, this person is very unlovable, but still, deep inside you, you love the person. Why is that? You cannot pinpoint where that love is coming from. That could be another indicator of low emotional awareness. Got it? Now, let's just pause about all this, no? I have a question about emotional awareness. What makes the self poor in emotional awareness? Sa tingin nyo, bakit may mga tao mababa yung emotional awareness? Hindi nila mo-connect yung what and why of their emotions. If you have any answers, you can put that in the chat box. I'm gonna read that and then discuss that in the classroom. But let me just give you one, okay? Maraming sagot sa question na yan, especially if you study the psychology of emotion. But one of the known factor why would this happen, diniscuss ito in a book by John Ruskin, Emotional Clearing, who is specializing in how to handle emotions, no? Ang sabi nila, emotional distractions. Anong ibig sabihin ng emotional distractions? Yung what explains why you can no longer identify the specific emotions that you feel. Parang yung nakalagay dito, hindi ko na alam anong tunay na nararamdaman ko according to this book kasi meron tayong emotional distractions. Let me demonstrate how does that happen. Imagine this is you. And then without all the distractions, you can easily identify what you're feeling here. Maybe you feel happy, maybe you feel sad, maybe you feel disappointed, you feel excited. Klarong-klaro. Bakit klaro? Kasi wala ka naman distraction dito. But as we know in our everyday life, hindi naman nangyayari yan, di ba? Paggising mo pa lang, you check social media, punong-puno na ng distraction. So when you enter social media, you begin to process things, you begin to feel varieties of emotions from the social media consumption that you have. So ano nangyayari? Tingnan nyo yung nangyayari dito sa slide. Yung totoong nararamdaman mo, which is this one, the yellow circle, sa Tagalog, natabunan na, nalibing na. It has been overlaid by the different emotions that you felt by browsing social media. So dyan na ngayon nanggagaling yung feeling na you know you're feeling something. There is something in you. You know you're sad, you know you're angry, But for some reason, parang hindi mo alam saan nanggagaling. Why am I feeling this? Yun na. Bakit? Because you are now confused by the varieties of emotions that you are feeling because of certain distractions in our life. Kaya nga, this should pause us and ask this question. Could it be, sa tingin nyo, social media can affect a person's emotional health? Is it reasonable to think that? Or in your own experience, if you go back, sa tingin nyo, are there times in your life na sa tingin nyo yung emotional health nyo na apektuhan ng pagso-social media? You can write your answers in the chat box or maybe share that later in our class. Alright? Now, in the language of psychologists, ang tawag dyan is the unknown part of the self. I mean, if you're aware with the Johari's window, 'di ba? Of the self, ito 'yun eh. Yung mga emotions mo na hindi mo maintindihan, hindi mo get saan nanggagaling, that's coming from the unknown part of the self. And how do you deal with that? Kasi in the psychology of emotions, there are certain emotions where it's too strong, and the only way to lessen that, to be more manageable, is to identify where it's coming from. Ang problema nga, hindi mo nga alam saan nanggagaling. Nandito nga siya sa unknown part. How do you deal with that? Diyan ngayon papasok yung mga mental health professionals. That's one of the things that they can do. Although not all mental health professionals can deal with these issues, pero may mga nag-i-specialize dyan. Tutulungan ka nila on how to identify where those certain emotions are coming from. And they are going to help you navigate through this part of the self, the unknown part in the Johari's window. But I have a follow-up question. What do you think? Is it possible na meron pa ring mga psychologists or mental health experts na hindi nila ma-identify talaga kahit anong gawin nila yung mga emotions na nasa unknown part? And if the answer is yes, what could be your next option? Saan pa kaya pwedeng magtanong kung saan nanggagaling yung mga emotions sa loob mo na hindi mo maintindihan? If mental health experts can't help you, where do you go? That's a very good question to ask. Pag-isipan nyo. Alright? Now, let's move on to number 2, emotional management. It's an emotional skill about how to control your emotion, especially the strong ones. Paano mo effectively i-manage yung mga malalakas na emotions that you are feeling? Analogy dyan parang ganito, parang kabayo na merong kang back rider. A horseback rider. Okay? A person who is emotionally healthy, ang itsura niya is lagi niyang kontrolado yung kabayo. When the horse becomes so wild, this person can easily control the horse to lessen its intensity. Yun yung magandang emotional management. And the reverse is true. Yung mga tao na tuwing nagwawala yung kabayo, nalulose control sila, are people in danger. Bakit? Kasi kapag masyadong nagwala yung horse, talagang naging wild, tapos hindi mo alam paano iti-tame yung horse, that can get you into trouble. Baka mahulog ka sa kabayo, maging cause pa ng death mo. And by the way, in real life, maraming mga instances na nangyari talaga yan. Yung nakasakay sa kabayo, they were not able to control the horse. So what happened was, they fell off the horse, nasira yung mga buto nila, and it was so drastic, it was so serious, it can even cause death. Okay? So it's very important to really have a full control of our strong emotions. Ang layman's term dyan, ang tawag dyan is self-control. Everybody says self-control, which is a very important emotional skill na pinopromote ng emotional intelligence literature. Sabi nga ng isang military strategist, a person who has no self-control is like a defenseless village. It is so easy to conquer. What do you think? Is that true? Is it true that there is a connection between how good you are in handling your emotions and your quality of life? Totoo ba na kapag hindi ka magaling sa pagkontrol ng emotion mo, maraming mga masasamang outcomes yung pwede mong ma-experience? Could it be that this is the reason why in basketball, why trash talking is done. 'Di ba? Now it makes sense no if you think about self-control. Kasi yung nature ng trash talk, ang goal diyan kaya ginagawa 'yan is you want the person to be emotional so that strong emotions that you will provoke, that you will induce will destroy the game of the person. Para mawala siya sa focus, hindi na siya makakashoot. I mean, if you're playing basketball, diba? That person, the player will make poor decisions, it will cause turnovers, so on and so forth. That's how important self-control is. And when we talk about self-control in psychology, isa sa mga pinakasikat na experiment dyan is the marshmallow test by David Mischel. Now, it's very long to discuss this study. If you want to learn more about this, you can just read this book, The Marshmallow Test. Here's the citation. It's a very good book to read about self-control. The scientific term for self-control, kasi yung popular term yan I mentioned. This is popular term, self-control. Yung scientific term dyan, at least in the literature, is delay of gratification. Your ability to delay pleasurable things for something better later. Okay? So itong si David Mischel, gumawa siya ng marshmallow test. Yun yung pinapopularize yung experiment, no? Where in this test, ito yung naging takbo, no? Mischel brought some children in the laboratory. And then in every cases, iniwan niya yung child or dinala niya yung mga children in a certain room where there's a marshmallow, as you can see here on the slide. Parang ganyan. Now, during those times, hindi ko alam kung totoo pa rin ngayon yan, no? Marshmallows are the thing. Talagang, irresistible yan sa mga bata. Kasi mabango, malambot, alam nilang masarap. So, Mischel tells the child, imagine this. Here's a marshmallow in front of you. You have a choice to eat it while I'm gone. Kasi aalis yung experimenter, no? But, sabi ng experimenter, my deal. I have a deal with you. I'm going to step out the room, just do something, and then while I'm out in the room, I want you to do your best to delay your gratification, to control yourself not to eat the marshmallow. Ganun yung sinabi. And here's the thing. If, by the time I go back, you did not eat the marshmallow, I'm going to give you more marshmallows. Pero pag kinain mo yan, that's it. Yan na yan. And then the experimenter leaves the laboratory or leaves the room. So it's just the child and the marshmallow. And then they observe what children did when they were alone with the marshmallow. Siyempre, expectedly, there are some children who failed the test. Hindi nakatiis. Sobrang bango ng marshmallow. Sobrang sarap. Kinain na, hindi na nakaantay. While there were also children who passed the test. Talagang nagpigil sila. No matter how strong the temptation was in eating the marshmallow, hindi nila kinain yung marshmallow to get more marshmallow later. Okay, so to use their terminologies, may mga bata who delayed their gratifications. There were children who did not delay their gratification. Now, after they got all the data, nung dinivide na nila yung mga bata into two, those who delayed and those who did not, kinuhanan ngayon nila ng mga personality profile sa mga bata. Pero yung highlight nung study was that when they do follow-up studies, they wanted to know kung may difference ba sa life outcomes between children who delayed their gratification and those who did not. And the answer was yes. Based on their analysis, if you read this book by Mischel, yung mga bata na nag-fail nung test, if you compare their life outcomes doon sa mga nakapasa sa test, mas magaganda yung outcomes ng mga nakapasa compared to those who failed. Those people who passed the test, sila? Mas financially stable sila, mas successful yung marriages nila, mas nakaka-contribute sila in their society, in contrast to those who failed the test. Marami sa kanila are in poor health. Marami sa kanila are in poor financial condition. Marami sa kanila are already divorced. Marami sa kanila marami ng mga sakit physically, so on and so forth. Although a very common critic in that experiment is hindi naman causal yan. Hindi naman causal yung magaling ka mag-delay of gratification, better life. Sure, tama naman yon in the language of this experiment. But many studies after this have confirmed, even statistically, that delay of gratification is one of the powerful predictors of life success. Got it? In fact, may isang study pa, wala na lang tayong time to talk about this. You can download the article if you want, showing that financial success, kung gusto mong maging mayaman, kung gusto mong maging financially stable, one predictor of that is high levels of self-control. Kapag magaling ka mag-delay of gratification, hindi ka bilhin ng mga bag na hindi mo kailangan. Kasi nakokontrol mo yung drive mo. Ganyan tayo sa malls, di ba? Sino dito may ganyang experience? You go to a mall, you lose your self-control. May ganun ba? Nag-rhyme pa, no? You go to the mall, and then you lose your self-control. Right? Wala na. Binili mo na lahat ng mga bagay na hindi mo kailangan, nawalan ka ng savings. Compared to people na maganda ang self-control, they can afford to just walk in the mall and not buy anything they don't need. Kaya nagkakaroon sila ng savings, yung savings na yan, napapalago nila into more money, they become more financially stable. That's how important self-control is in our everyday life. So given all this, let's pause and reflect. After all, that's what understanding the self is all about. What strong emotions do you think you need to control? Ano yung mga emotions na sa tingin mo, aminado ka, hirap na hirap kang kontrolin? Number 2, how is your self-control doing in general, in average? Sa tingin mo ba you are a person who is good in self-control or who needs improvement in self-control? Number 3, what makes it hard to practice self-control in the first place? Ito, pag-usapan natin to sa classroom. 'Di ba? May mga tao ngayon talagang hirap na hirap mag self-control. They just express everything that they're feeling. Kinakain sila ng buong-buo ng mga emotions nila. Why? We'll talk about that in the classroom. Now we go to number 3. Let's talk about social emotional awareness. Uy, tumawid na tayo. Starting here, we talk about how to manage the emotions of other people. Okay? It starts with number 3, social emotional awareness. Ito yung mirror ng number 1. Emotional awareness. Nilagyan mo lang ng word na social. Which means, this is your ability to anticipate the emotions of other people. Actually, dalawa yan. Read and anticipate. How good you are in knowing what a person currently feels or what a person would feel given in a certain situation. Sabi ko nga dito, anong nararamdaman niya at ano kaya ang mararamdaman ng isang tao? The better you are in answering those questions, mas maganda yung social emotional awareness mo. Kaya nga, no, in the popular culture, sabi nila, isa raw sa mga magagandang guidelines that will help a person to be good in number 3 is, huwag mong gagawin sa iba ang ayaw mong gawin sa'yo. Or paraphrase that, kung sa akin gagawin, magugustuhan ko ba? Those are very important questions that will enhance your social emotional awareness. Okay, let me give you certain examples, no? Halimbawa, bago ka magmura o bago mo murahin yung isang tao, gusto mo ba minumura ka? That is a reflection of social emotional awareness. 'Di ba? Kung iniisip mo wag magbayad ng utang, tatanungin mo 'yung sarili mo, gusto mo ba hindi ka rin babayaran? Before you cheat in a relationship or in anywhere, in a game, whatever form of cheating, tatanungin mo, gusto mo ba ikaw mismo niloloko ka? 'Di ba? Nilalabas mo yung awareness mo from the self and you are thinking about another person. Ini-integrate mo yung emotions ng sarili at ng ibang tao. Yan yung social emotional awareness. Sabi nga nila, this is the foundation of empathy. Another good saying na sikat na sikat on this, no? Always put yourself in another person's shoes. Empathy yan. If you feel that it hurts you, it probably hurts the other person too. You see, the idea here is you are not only thinking about yourself. You are also thinking about what other people would feel before you say or do anything. Yan ang social emotional awareness. Alright? Now, exercise. Para ma-enhance yung social emotional awareness nyo, number 1, identify certain things that you want to do to you so you will do it to others. Ano yung mga bagay na gusto mong ginagawa sa'yo? Kaya, dahil gusto mong ginagawa yun sa'yo, most likely, gagawin mo rin sa iba. Number 2, what are the things that you don't want to do? Baliktad naman. Mga bagay na ayaw mong ginagawa sa'yo, kaya hindi mo rin gagawin sa iba. Identify as many as you can. If you wanna share, ilagay nyo dyan sa comment section. Number 3, identify a struggling person right now in your life. Yung alam mong this person is not in good shape, meron kasi siyang pinagdaraan ng mabigat, and then do your best. What emotions do you think this person is currently feeling? Kung ikaw kaya doon sa kalagayan niya, kung ikaw kaya yung nandoon sa situation niya, ikaw, what would you feel? By doing these 3, sureball yan, ma-enhance yung social emotional awareness mo. Now we enter the last one. Relationship management refers to 2 things. Number 1, relationship management refers to how good you are in using emotions to strengthen and to sustain your relationships. Ang keyword dito, nurture. Everybody say nurture. Yan. Nurture means dinidevelop mo, ine-enrich mo yung relationships mo using different emotions, whether positive or negative emotions. Halimbawa dito, if you can see the diagram, di ba? Paano mo gagamitin yung happiness o yung excitement into strengthening your relationship with someone? And it's easy to do that kasi positive emotions eh. But how about the negative ones? Di ba? Because in our experience, kapag negative emotions, most likely, it negatively affects the relationship, nasisira. Pero yun, doon na nga papasok yung relationship management skills. How can you turn something bad into something good in your relationship? Let's say doubt. Nagdududa ka sa isang tao that you have a relationship with. How can you make use of that doubt to further strengthen your relationship? That's relationship management skills. Or let's say disappointment. Naka-experience ka ng betrayal. Paano mo ngayon i-handle yung disappointment na yan na na-feel mo sa kaibigan mo who betrayed you? Gagamitin mo yung disappointment na yan to make the relationship stronger. Halimbawa, ito yung scenario. Ang scenario dito, hindi pwedeng if a friendship over mo siya ha. Dapat tuloy pa rin yung friendship nyo, pero may ginawa siya sa'yo. How would you handle a friend who denied that he or she knows that he or she knows you during the time someone falsely accused you of financial fraud? May nambintang sa'yo na nanloloko ka raw sa pera, pero sa totoo lang, hindi siya totoo. So, nag-undergo ka ng hearing, dinimanda ka. And then during the hearing, tinanong yung kaibigan mo na to, kilala mo ba tong taong to, which is ikaw? And then this person denied you. Samantalang close na close kayo. Dahil may kaso ka, ayaw niyang ma-associate sa'yo, this person denied you. Hindi lang isang beses, hindi lang 2 beses, 3 beses kanyang dinenay. Siyempre, what would you feel as a friend? Close na close tayo. Ang dami nating pinagdaanan. Di ba? Tapos, i-deny mo ako 3 times in front of many people. That would be a very disappointing experience. But then again, fast forward, let's say, okay na yung case, napatunayang hindi totoo yung binibintang sa'yo. How would you handle this friend? Again, hindi pwedeng friendship over. Okay? Yun yung challenge. How can you make use of that disappointment to further strengthen your relationship with this person? That's relationship management skills. And according to studies in the psychology of relationships, basahin nyo lang yung literature dyan, no? This is a very strong predictor of longer/more stable relationships. Ito yung isa sa mga reasons kung bakit may mga relationships na nagtatagal. Regardless if it's romantic or friendship, bakit napaka-stable ng relationship na yan? Magkakilala na sila noong 1947, 2007 sila pa rin. Bakit? Magaling sila sa relationship management skills. Am I making sense? Yun yung letter A. Going back, what's letter A? How do you nurture your relationships using different emotions, whether positive or negative. Letter B, the key skill here is how to handle another person's emotions, especially the negative emotions. That's another expression of relationship management. The key word here is handle. Kanina nurture, di ba? Nurture, paano mo pagagandahin yung relationship. Letter B is handle. Paano mo iti-take yung nararamdaman ng ka-relationship mo na emotions, especially yung mga negative emotions. How do you lessen the emotions or lessen the intensity of those negative emotions, and how good you are in helping that person in coping with that emotion? Grabe, mahirap yan ha. Mahirap mag-handle ng emotions ng iba. Right? I mean, it's more manageable to handle our own emotions, although that's not always true all the time. Minsan, may mga tao mas madaling mag-handle ng emotions ng iba kumpara sa sarili. But regardless, how good you are in lessening the intensity of the negative emotion of your friend, and how do you guide your friend to cope with that negative emotion? Relationship management skills yan. Halimbawa, yung mga emotions na yan, your friend tells you that he or she is sad. Bro, nasasad ako. Do you know what to say to a sad person? Do you know what not to say to a sad person? Oy, may ganyang rule ah. Meron kang mga bagay na dapat sabihin at hindi dapat sabihin when a person is feeling sad or feeling angry. Or if you are in a romantic relationship, how do you handle the jealousy? That's a very complex emotion. How do you handle the jealousy of the person that you are in a relationship with? How? Nag-open up siya sa'yo, alam mo, nagsiselos ako, masyado ko yung close ng classmate mo na yan. Ano dapat mong sabihin sa kanya? Ano hindi mo dapat sabihin sa kanya? Your ability to handle these emotions being felt by a person you are in a relationship with, it's a very important emotional skill. Alright? So, exercise. Para lang mas ma-appreciate nyo yung relationship management skills, can you think of current events na napanood nyo in news, or maybe in showbiz, or maybe you've seen in social media, na sa tingin nyo, kaya nangyari yon, it can be explained by poor emotional management. Poor relationship management. Burahin ko to. Poor relationship management. Yan. Meron ba? Kung may mga naiisip kayo, just hold those thoughts, ilagay nyo sa notebooks nyo. We will talk about that in the classroom. What do you think? Another good question to ask. What emotional skills kaya yung talagang sobrang halaga in today's culture, in today's time, to sustain relationships today? Can you identify specific emotional skills na kapag ang mga tao ngayon mas naging magaling lang in these emotional skills, most likely mas magtatagal ang mga relationships? Identify as many as you can. Alright? So yun lang yung 4 na sub-skills natin under emotional intelligence. Again, in the classroom, we will further talk about this by asking deeper questions. I'm gonna ask a lot of questions on this 4 when we talk about this in the classroom. So I hope you learned something. Thank you everyone for watching this short lecture video. I'll see you in the classroom. God bless everyone. Bye-bye.